Greetings YouTube, welcome to 0AD Newbie Rush. I'm Jim Kogan. We are straight into the action. It's 4v4 and it's a map I don't think I've featured on the channel before. It's a battle in the deep forest. It's a large deep forest map. Plentiful trees, lots of hunt, and an interesting 4v4 contest. Let's introduce the teams. First of all, I suppose you would have to call it the north. Let me see if I can orientate the map slightly more square. That's as good as we're going to get it. So in the north, team one, first of all, in the blue, and I got to try and super Choppenhauser. Super Choppenhauer. I'm going to mess that up so many times. In the blue, playing as the Morians, rated 1,135. Naturally, I know nothing about this player. Lowish rating, not too dissimilar from mine. Not sure what we can expect for Super Choppenhauer. Could surprise us. Could be a newbie. Could be an absolutely brilliant player. But we will see. Playing as the Morians, very competitive. Competitive civ. Let's see what else we've got. Over here in the purple, now I don't know how to pronounce this as well. Smeggles, it's going to have to be. There's no vowel, so Smeggles. Rated 1,341. Also playing as the Morians. Interesting. Are we Morians right across the board? No, just two Morians players. Smuggles in the purple, decent rating, interesting player. We'll see what they are like. A lot to unpack in this because it is such a diverse and strange map. Keeping an eye on Cav as usual, see if anybody goes for it with a Cav rush. But let's have a look, see who else we have on team one. Here we have Peter Russo. I hope I've spelt that right or pronounced that right. Peter Russo, rated 1,337, another player I don't know much about, playing as the Cushites. Very much a strong civ in Alpha 24. Interested to see them. So we have two players in the 1300s next to each other, both in the pocket there for team one. And rounding out team one on this flank, we have DPD in the pink fuchsia type color. Also playing as the Cushites. DPD rated 1,188. So it's interesting. We have two 1,300 players in the middle, two 1,100 players on the flank. Know nothing about this team at all. Not seen any of these players play. Gonna have a hell of a job pronouncing them all, but we'll see how we go. Let's have a look at team two. Interestingly, just gonna say, I thought, yeah, they're getting a little bit close on this flank here. Facing off against Super Choppenhauer. On the flank in the green, we have, that's another one I can't pronounce, Durgadurf, that'll do. Also a player in the 1100s, 1,123. So this could be an interesting flank. There may be some naivety in the play. They're getting awful close to each other. They're hunting right on each other's borders. I'm intrigued as to how that's going to go. So Durgadurf in the green, rated 1,123, playing as a civ that I've got kind of used to playing as just recently, the Ptolemies. I was hopeless as them in Alpha 23, but I'm digging them a bit more in Alpha 24. Moving along in the light blue or cyan, we have Yekaterina, friend of the channel, familiar face to those who watch Newbie Rush on a regular basis. Very capable player. Interesting approach that Yekaterina's gone for. And I don't want to. Yeah, she had a few idle female citizens down there. So it's always worse when you catch a player you know quite well and they're they've got somebody idle. But Yekaterina here, on paper, the class act in this field, rated 1,429. Also playing as the Ptolemies. Be very interested to see what Yekaterina manages with them. Let's have a look over here. In the orange, we have Juan Ragnarok, who I've covered before a long time ago. Might have been an Alpha 20 Alpha 23 replay. Can't quite remember whether Juan Ragnarok was on the winning or losing side. Seem to remember they weren't a terrible player. Rating of 1,112 suggests they haven't perhaps moved on too far from there, or maybe they've lost to some top players and been really pushing themselves. Haven't followed their 0AD exploits, but will be interesting. Just looking through, Durgadurf has got 6 Cav, the only player to really go in for Cav in a big way, so I suspect there could be a raid on that flank. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We're looking for bright green dots on the minimap heading towards this blue area here, or anywhere away from their base. Let's have a look at our final competitor today, playing as the Kushites. It is, let's have a look at their name, bring them up, Plomo, rated 1,166. So, playing as Kushites as well, it's an interesting mix of skills and standards and ratings here. Plomo will be up against somebody with a very similar rating in DPD. Same Civ on this side as well. So this is fascinating. What have we got over here? So it's Ptolemies versus Morians on this side. It's Kushites versus Kushites over here. 2 lots of Ptolemies. Where have we got? Ptolemies and Kushites here, and Morians and Kushites here. So it's a really interesting mix. Between them all is the clearing in the middle and the deep forest that the map takes its name after. If you could see all this, we aren't getting too much slowdown. Big map like this, it does take a little bit of time to scroll around. Who is leading at this stage? Unsurprisingly, it is Yekaterina. I said, on paper, the best player according to the rating system. So in 1v1s, Yekaterina has the best average here. Doesn't count for much in team games because obviously players may have played a lot of team games and not many 1v1s. They may have also lost to lower, higher ranked opponents possibly in tight games. So it's only a ballpark figure as far as skill goes, but we know from having watched Yekaterina before that Yekaterina is a tidy player. We are seeing more Cav here. Where are they all? Yeah, more Cav for Durgadurf. So it's Camel Archers, not possibly my favorite Cav unit, but we'll see how they do. Some very jerky movements from the units at the moment. Hopefully that will sort itself out. They're hunting at the moment, so nothing major happening there. I think it's the amount of trees on this map that cause a bit of slowdown. We've got detail on quite low. We have no shadows. A lot of people ask me, why do my screenshots and stuff look a little bit rough? It's because I switch all the shadows off, trying to make it run as smoothly as possible. Not really having much of that today. They're looking a little bit jerky as they go. Hopefully that won't be too bad when we get up to decent populations. So Yekaterina doing everything right at the moment. Population of 65, hitting that 10 per minute type mark. So on course for the magical 100. Probably the only player that is at this point. Super Schopenhauer has gone straight to phase 2. Is Super Schopenhauer a bit of a noob? Somewhat behind. He's got half the population that Yekaterina has. I would be worried about this if I were on team 1. Because the strongest player in the game and somebody with all the cav are right here, possibly looking at the player who is struggling as far as population goes by some considerable distance and phasing up early. Super Schopenhauer is looking like a bit of a noob at this point. Is this... No, it's not the makings of an attack. It is still a hunting party. Super Schopenhauer not done anything to kind of protect this flank. This flank is wide open. Their elephant is there stationary doing nothing. So they're not even utilising the mobile drop site that the elephant is. So I'm not convinced about Super Schopenhauer. Plomo on Team 2 has also phased up relatively early, 7 minutes 3 seconds on a population of 49. I'm not convinced about that either. Let's have a look. Peter Russo is also phasing up, population of 60. Interesting. Let's have a look at those two players and see what they have. No deaths recorded. And Juan Ragnarok has pop capped himself on 73. Hopefully we'll sort that out soon. But Peter Russo, where is Peter? No, this is Plomo. So Plomo here, barreling along fairly nice. Well, population 49 to second. Actually, yeah, joint second lowest with Duggendorf, but Duggendorf has the cav. I could see a strategy in Duggendorf, but I'm not certain about Plomo's setup here. We'll have a look at Peter Russo, see what he's doing. So he's utilising, they're walking a long way to gather wood. They're also walking quite a long way, and we have, what do we have? We also, it's all women gathering the food, so he's not misappropriating units for the wrong job. But a lot of women over there on a frontline border, facing up against DPD, who does appear to know what they're doing. Barracks at the front, lots of houses building a shield. Idle troops there though, so don't speak too soon. DPD, population of 62, has not got anywhere near phasing up. Oh, he's just started phasing up. So it looks like some very new players in this game completely. Peter Russo though, Peter Russo is one of the highest rated players in the game. I think Peter Russo does know what they're doing, although there are some long walks going on here for this wood line. Don't understand why they haven't put another storehouse here. Maybe Peter Russo is perhaps not the player we thought he was, not sure. Most of the teams that know what they're doing, from the looks of things, are utilising the wood lines at the back of their base. The players that I'm not too sure about, some of them are ignoring those and going for the inner ones. I guess it depends on how you orientate the screen and where you think you are. We're seeing lots of towers going up, so we are seeing defences here from Super Schopenhauer, but still the lowest population. As we're seeing, DPD has reached town phase. Smuggles, who we haven't looked at at all, has started the town phase. Population of 75, and the biggest infantry at this point. This is interesting. I wonder if Smuggles is going to be the dark horse in this game. Certainly somebody who might be able to give Katerina problems on this side. It's interesting. Let's have a look back over here. It's difficult to know where this is all going to kick off to. I think we could be about to see Duggendorf actually do something with this 20 cavalry. They're just stood in the middle. Are they planning an expansion, or are they going to go in? I hope they just don't go straight back to the base. If you're going that way, you've got to at least take out some enemies, surely. There's quite a blockade being built here by Duggendorf. Juan Ragnarok on population of 98 is phasing up. That leaves Duggendorf and Katerina as the only players not to be phasing up at the moment. I would expect Katerina will be going soon as Juan Ragnarok reaches it. Katerina has started the phase. The 20 cav are coming in. They are between two towers, although neither tower is garrisoned. I think they're going to go for a quick capture here. This would be pretty poor. Duggendorf has a kill already. They still haven't garrisoned this tower. They're in danger of losing it. There are no infantry there to garrison it with. So capturing from here, it's not going to do a lot. But Duggendorf has got 9 kills, almost into double figures. Super Schopenhauer is in a little bit of trouble, sacrificing women as well. They're charging straight for it. Is he trying to get people into the tower? Looks like a suicide charge. Population down to 27. I think we know who the newbie is in this game. Fighting in the shadow of this tower. I suppose they're in that inner circle, so they're not being shot up as much, and nobody's gone into the tower. They're halfway to capturing it. All they can really do is destroy it. Super Schopenhauer down to a population of 15. And you have to say, this is a pretty awful performance so far from them. Considering the civ they've got, that tower has been captured. Down it comes, down goes the mobile drop site elephant. Doesn't matter, they've still got another here they're not doing anything with. And they're down to the base population. I think they're down to a population of 8. None of those are infantry, so they are in enormous trouble. What's this over here? This is Smuggles archers here. So 38 archers coming in to try and sort of bolster this flank. But Super Schopenhauer, I think, he's producing archers himself. There's an element of too little too late here. I think this flank has been compromised completely. And they're going for a capture of the other tower. They're going to have trouble here because the archers are coming in. 42 kills for Duggendorf. Starting to lose these camel archers now. So I think they should quit while they're ahead. Although, have they got anything to protect themselves? They've got no infantry. They retreat now and these guys follow them. Duggendorf is in a bit of trouble. Any confrontations going on anywhere else? There's been 1 or 2. No, these are the main protagonists. So, what's Smuggles doing? Smuggles is here. As he can't put his own troops in there. Doesn't look like it. They're retreating, so they're leaving it to Super Schopenhauer to clean up the mess, and there is considerable mess. So an assist from Smuggles there. And has that held Smuggles back a bit? People are going to be looking to phasing up pretty soon. Wouldn't surprise me if Ekaterina goes for a lightning phase 2. We're already... Are we seeing any phase 2 buildings? We're seeing the market there. What does Ekaterina need? Ekaterina needs another 2 entities. Who went first? Everybody is in phase 2 now. Let's have a look at Plomo, see how far away they are. Plomo still miles away, another 2 buildings required. There is an attack over here. They've built that temple, or they're building that temple a little too close to the border, and DPD is not very happy about that. Don't know why he hasn't got a tower up here somewhere to be shooting into this area. That would be causing Plomo all kinds of problems. Plomo is now actually ahead of DPD in terms of population, but DPD has got a few kills from this attack. We've got 2, it's 2 lots of Kushites, isn't it, facing off, so similar makeup of the armies. DPD getting a few kills now as that temple has gone up. So this flank being hotly contested. Is there any backup forces? There's minimal backup forces. It's mostly female citizens at the back there. Duggendorf is raiding the markets on the other side. It's other than these little skirmishes on the flanks, we're getting small amounts. It's been fairly quiet. How is Smuggles doing after that assist? He's right up there, 115. Still Yekaterina and Juan Ragnarok, the 2 players in those middle positions who are looking the strongest. Wouldn't surprise me if we see one of those 2 go for quite a dominant expansion into the clearing area in the middle of the map to try and give them sort of extra, extra territory to push through. And Ekaterina has reached the city phase. Peter Russo has started the city phase. Peter Russo, dark horse at the moment. PopCap's currently, as we're talking about, a population of 117. I think he's still PopCap's still flashing. Juan Ragnarok has moved into the lead in terms of population, but still Smuggles has got the biggest infantry. Let's see the makeup of the armies. We are also seeing confrontation here. There is a tower, like we talked about just now, to face off against this tower. Is he going to put anybody in it, though? They haven't garrisoned it? I don't understand that. That's what they're there for? That's very, very strange indeed. So these are not the offensive weapons they could be. This one is garrisoned, so there is far more firepower coming out of here. So Plomo doing possibly slightly better than DPD. DPD looking a little bit naive in the business attacking end here. Lots of hunt in the middle that nobody's really found. We're seeing lots of goats. So there is a lot of plunder to be had from striking for the middle, and Is this an expansion or is this just a slightly stretched wood line? It's Peter Russo who has now reached phase 3. First person to do so. Interesting. There others will follow. There goes, oh no, Yekaterina is as well. That isn't a surprise. And will we be seeing a mobilization of Yekaterina's forces very soon? Not sure. At the moment, all of the combat, if there is any, is happening just in this little area down here. Right on the flank, there is weapons being exchanged. There are now 5 troops inside that tower. So we have two evenly matched towers shooting at each other. I'm waiting for the expansion. The expansion's going to come. It's only a minor expansion. It is, in fact, it's hard to call it an expansion as such. There's a storehouse over here to utilize more of this wood. There's a siege workshop going down by Katerina right on the border, but nobody has decided to go ahead and plant a CC anywhere. Smuggles has still got 34 archers here, possibly waiting to mess up Dugadurf, who's trying to sneak out again. They're going to run straight into these guys. This is a bad move. You've got to have a better tactic than that. They hastily turn around, but then they face them again. There's only a handful of archers there. Is this a lure? What does Dugadurf know about? Dugadurf is now seeing how many archers there are. They're coming into the field of view after the fog of war. And I think Dugadurf is going to lose a lot of cavalry here. They are good units, but these archers are tidy. In terms of kills, Dugadurf has got that early success from absolutely laying into Super Schopenhauer. Super Schopenhauer is still only on population 25 after that, not a fighting force in any way, shape or form. And this doesn't look too good for Smuggles here. He's actually lost most of his archers. I thought they would make light work of these guys. But Dugadurf is doing very well. Let's see if we can find the Ptolemy blacksmith and see how and if he's upgraded them. He must have done, because they look a bit more lethal than normal. I think they've cleaned them all up. Look at that. Yeah, a little bit of support there from the few bits of infantry that Super Schopenhauer has got. Plomo reaches the city phase. Who are we waiting for to phase up? Dugadurf, Juan Ragnarok, DPD has just made it, and we're waiting for Super Schopenhauer, who is gonna be sometime. There's no doubt about it if they get there at all. I'm still looking for a blacksmith here. I'm not seeing one. I never find the blacksmith when I want it. I don't think they've upgraded those cavalry archers. Where have they all gone? Are they in the temple, or are they all dead? I'm not sure. Well, it's certainly looking good on this flank. Things not looking quite so good for Plomo over here. There is a fortress going up, siege workshop going up on the other side, and another one going up there. But has anybody made siege? Katerina has made 3 siege engines. We're seeing a strike for the middle. This is interesting. At 17 minutes 53 seconds, we're seeing Plomo send a whole load of, well, only 7 archers into the middle. Are they going to try and put a CC down? Nobody else seems like, they just seem to be there. Really, they should be here protecting this flank. There's not a lot between them. Although, will we start seeing siege from elsewhere? It looks like Katerina is the only person who's really, really committed to siege. It is siege towers with troops in them.
Yeah, see?
Most of them. Yeah, small groups. That one's empty. Has Yekaterina got any kind of upgrades at all? There is Yekaterina's blacksmith. No upgrades. So these troops are not particularly strengthened. But they are going in what is like an armoured protected vehicle here. Yekaterina, big fan of the siege towers. I don't know whether Yekaterina will find a clear route through, as Dugedorf's cav is back out again, runs straight into another group of archers provided by Smuggles. Smuggles really does need to get a few kills back. These guys aren't proven to be too effective. I suppose it is distracting. Smuggles still hasn't phased up. We're seeing Juan Ragnarok now go for an expansion. Looks like Plomo decided better of it, but Juan Ragnarok has made the step and gone for it. Yeah, I don't know how Yekaterina is going to get these towers through all of these buildings and trees. I think on this kind of map, perhaps towers not quite so good, but if she does manage to maneuver them into a dangerous area, they can get through. These houses haven't been built yet, but they might have a path through there. They're a bit ungainly, the towers. They're certainly not going to be able to navigate through the centre of Dugedov space, so I'm not sure where they're going to go. We've seen precious little expansion from Peter Russo. 5 champion units. Now, are those elephants, or have they got an elephant house? I'm looking for where they might be. Where are these champions then? I'm not sure. It's all been very conservative on this side of the map. DPD and Plomo are now properly having some combat here. DPD has got a couple of siege engines out and running only into archers, so that is problematic. There's nothing there that's going to stop them other than that ram they've already got, although they are suicide charging into a tower. And that is not advisable. You want your archers firing from distance. The rams have been called back. I would have thought one would be better off taking off the other ram, and this one would be attacking the fortress or trying to cause damage. They seem to be cancelling each other out somewhat. There goes the purple ram. There's just the yellow one remaining. Are there any more on the way? Apparently not. That is it as far as Plomo goes. It's not got anything to be shot at, and there. Is it trying to mash up these archers over here? Difficult to say in this battle. DPD has got a straight kill death ratio. Plomo's is slightly better, 40 kills for the loss of 35. It's still Turkadov who is the top killer at the moment. It's just taking people out over here. They just stood there killing Super Schopenhauer's troops, whose population is still at 27. Why are they wasting their time with this? They should be trying to build their infrastructure. It looks like they're just settled on whatever it is they're doing, and they're not doing very much. There's a few archers there still of Smuggles coming down. But what's going on here? That's traders. That's a run of traders. This border, they fought themselves to a bit of a standstill, but rams coming back the other way. Knowing they're also going to get rams, it doesn't look like Plomo's got any kind of a plan for dealing with them. These are all archers. But they're still running away even though they're there. They're not going to make a dent in this thing. Why not just send it in on the buildings? This one has taken out a building of low... oh, look at this. We've got infantry here. Archers here from Peter Russo. This is like a guerrilla raid that they've done. They're trying to capture they're going to capture, I think, if they stay on it. No, they got halfway to capturing this barracks, and rams fighting each other. It's a very uncoordinated bit of combat. How's Yekaterina's towers doing? They're still there. They try to find a route through this very torturous little foresty bit. We have Dugedorf has built, oh, that's typical, isn't it? Through one of the only pathways through, Dugedorf has gone and put a base on it. It looks like at least one of the towers, is it going to be able to get through? It's got some troops in it. It's heading over here. I mean, I don't know what the plan is. The others have made it. Are they going to plan to capture this CC? So they're absolutely murdering the last of Super Schopenhauer, and they've taken out most of these archers. Yeah, we've got infantry now involved from Duggadorf. They've captured that tower. And Super Schopenhauer is an ex-player as far as this game goes. He's down to a population of 3, population of 0. Now, absolutely none left alive. He holds the buildings, has got the facility to make things, but they're aiming to shoot down. They're aiming to shoot the CC with tower. They'd be better off going in to capture it. Smuggles must know about this because he's lost troops in the process. DPD has managed to pop cap himself at 150. Whilst getting some success over here, it must be said they've captured the pyramid, they've captured this storehouse, and Palomo doesn't seem to be able to do anything about this. So Peter Russo's sort of little cameo over here seems to be having the desired effect, and Plomo still hastily trying to build things whilst being shot up. We have, is this reinforcements? Yeah, this is Juan Ragnarok, who is sending some infantry in, some more archers, to kind of repel this attack. But nobody seems to have anything that will stop rams, and it's rams that are coming through. So this flank is in the balance. I think Juan Ragnarok will be a significant factor here. But nobody seems to be sending any melee troops or sort of sword cav or anything to stop the rams or elephants. We've seen an elephant now. We're starting to see a few elephants from Peter Russo. Happy to send small numbers of forces in here to try and win this flank. Juan Ragnarok not happy with what's happening. They're sending much more infantry, but again, it's all archers. How much? Let's have a look at the breakdown of the troops here. So, in terms of ranged infantry, look at that. Juan Ragnarok has got 154. As we see, Super Schopenhauer has been completely and utterly removed from the game by a combination of Ekaterina, but mostly by Duggadorf. Let's flick back to the main view. So 107 kills. Super Schopenhauer. I'm glad I don't have to pronounce them anymore. They were not very good. So big army now descending on Smuggles. Smuggles has not made a good job of defending this flank. Where is Smuggles' army? Smuggle has 143 infantry. It's the largest infantry in the game. But they are not in a position to fight this off at the moment. They have to come from distance. We are getting archers over there, longbowmen, and what have we got over here? They're hastily retreating. There's more archers. I don't think they've got any kind of melee troops at all either. So this is interesting. Ekaterina's made it all the way through. The archers are not making a dent on these. There is an elephant, but I don't really see what that's going to do. But there is a large army of Peter Russo's being committed now to this fight. I think they're going to come around here. They have got stuff that possibly might cause some problems. It still looks like it's all archers though. Maybe a bit of an overcommitment to archers. No melee troops at all. The fight over on this flank, it still hasn't been subdued by the input of Juan Ragnarok. He's got a lot of troops here. I think the CC has gone, hasn't it? So Plomo has lost the CC. This territory has been taken down. They are ruthlessly cutting their way through. Plomo down to a population of 39. So Juan Ragnarok's input didn't stop what was going on here. There is at least one ram of Juan Ragnarok, but nothing, no infantry. There is a handful of Ekaterina's Royal Guard infantry there. They've obviously just been loaned to try and take down these rams. Ekaterina herself is pulling back slightly as the infantry of Duggadorf goes in. We have an elephant from Smuggles that's about to get slaughtered, I think. It's not good, and Peter Russo is taking his time to try and get through the... I think his first wave may have already been defeated, is that right? So, yeah... It's not looking good for Team 1 at the moment. They've lost one player. Their only notable success, really, is this flank here. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Plomo trying to re-establish himself elsewhere. But population of 32, it's a big ask. Juan Ragnarok here possibly might be a bit vulnerable if DPD commits to this. But DPD seems to be scattered everywhere. It's not a coordinated attack. He has not got a lot of troops left at the business end, so I think that's as far as they're going to go. They've taken down a player's CC, but I don't think they're going to cut their way further. There is one ram having a go at Juan Ragnarok now, and again suffering for that same problem, that there isn't much they can do to stop the rams. They can kill a lot of players. Juan Ragnarok has killed 117. Who's top killer? DPD is top killer. I'm quite impressed with DPD's killing exploits. Been somewhat supported by Peter Russo. Plomo didn't really put up that much of a fight. Running into problems now, Juan Ragnarok will definitely slow them down. But this vast army here now, they've repelled Peter Russo's attacking forces. Smuggles has got a couple of elephants there. But the siege towers, they're invulnerable, they're shooting arrows, and they're killing anything that's having a go at them and being taken down by, I know there's definitely some skirmishes or slingers in this, Judean slingers. So you just put them there, and as long as nothing gets near them, it's like another, it's a protected artillery unit, basically. Is Peter Russo going to commit more forces? It doesn't look like he is. So if Smuggles falls, and it does look like Smuggles is going to fall, they've got through the outer rim of houses. Smuggles down to a population of 59. Peter Russo's got a population of 165 and falling quite rapidly as his archers here are being slaughtered. And DPD, who's had some success but has now been fought back, and a CC I think has been re-established. Yeah, a CC re-established by Plomo, so all that attacking prowess, he's down to a population of 124. Got one ram and is making more of them, and is making more, well, it's a mix of, yeah, there's champion archers, ordinary archers, and a priest. Don't think he's going to muster enough forces quickly enough to win this flank properly. What's going on over here? Now, the great tragedy with the siege towers is you can't use them to knock over buildings. You can only kill things with them and be protected. There are still archers around, but I mean they're dying a slow death. Smuggles down to a population of 62. So without really committing huge numbers of forces, Yekaterina has got to the other side of the map, has provided a mobile killing factory. There is an elephant now taking out some of these towers, but inside it are 9 pikemen who are probably going to make light work of this elephant, which is being shot up the whole time. We can't click on the elephant, that's annoying. Click on the elephant. Yeah, actually, let's bring their health up. The elephant is under halfway health. He's trying to take out another tower. There's another elephant coming. I think this is a bit of a forlorn hope. Where is Digadov's infantry? Have they all been lost? Peter Russo just stood around letting all this happen. Don't quite understand this at all. I think Team 1 have kind of proverbially lost the will to fight, I think. Yeah, it's not good. Plomo is recovering well. DPD is trying to build up a sizable force for another push. Peter Russo really needs to commit himself to one side or the other. Win this flank or stop this attack, or try and stop it. He's bartering massively at the market for units. He's down to a population of 155. So it's now boosted. He's now, look, we see a huge jump in production there. Digadov is trying to raise another army. Here they come. How's he done? In terms of losses, he's in deficit. So sacrificed quite a lot of his army facing off with Peter Russo. Peter Russo going back in again. In terms of kills, he's been the least effective killing machine. Only 85 kills, lost 142. So Peter Russo has perhaps not really judged this situation as well. He might. Anything that comes out of these buildings is just being cut to ribbons by all the arrows coming out of these siege towers. Here's the flank going over here. DPD's going in for another big push. Only 2 rams and not the size of force that he had before. But Juan Ragnarok is pulling his troops out and now they're going back in. I think there is a stronger force here. And I don't think DPD is going to be able to hold it. I think this is going to counter and come back on him. If both, there's lots of units. There's a lot of units in there. There's over, we're looking at nearly 100 there versus barely 50. Just on weight of numbers. I mean, they're not helping by just being stood around. I think Plomo needs to commit his forces to the fight. There they go. They could take down DPD's army. How is it going over this side? I can't understand why. I suppose they were just waiting for Digadiv's elephants to turn up and destroy Smuggle's base. They've let a load of elephants come out of there, so Katerina's lost a few towers as a result. Interesting. Ekaterina has more forces approaching. It's straight infantry this time. There's a little stream of them, more coming from Digadurf, and more elephants. They're all pooling up here before pushing into Smuggle's base. Smuggle's CC has gone, although there is another one. No, that's an elephant house over there. They look very similar, the elephant house and the Morians and the CCs. Peter Russo still fighting a sort of forlorn battle there, but this territory is losing its loyalty. He could do with falling back to his own territory, maybe making defences. He's resigned, and Smuggles has resigned. So DPD has been left on his own and has decided to resign also. I think that was probably the wise thing to do, given that. I don't think... well, let's have a look at how that broke down. So clearly Team 2 the winner there, score of 39,360, over 10,000 points the winning margin. Star of the show, well, funnily enough, Juan Ragnarok got the highest score. I'm not quite sure. I think that was from his economy because he did do an expansion. Ekaterina got the military score. DPD, really the only player on Team 1 to have any kind of success. I think he had the drop on Plomo all the way through. Neither, I thought, played the Kushites particularly well. There was lots of archers, and then Rams turned up, and neither side kind of knew how to deal with Rams. But DPD didn't lose any territory. He pushed through, knocked over Plomo, but then got fought back, supported by Juan Ragnarok, and that's pretty much all that Juan Ragnarok did in that game. He controlled the center and then supported Plomo, allowed him to rebuild, and kept DPD at bay. The action on the other side, Dugadurf went over and slaughtered Super Schopenhauer. Smuggles assisted the first time with archers, but proved to be absolutely no match for the combination of Dugadurf and Ekaterina. Nobody seemed to know how to deal with siege towers. Nobody seemed to know how to deal with siege engines in that game. Ekaterina didn't really need to make any proper siege. It was the elephants from Dugadurf came in and cleaned up the buildings. Ekaterina, safely protected within the siege towers, was just killing all the archers. So archers, despite their being so many of them on Team 1, that weapon was effectively rendered useless. Fascinating. Let's see how the populations broke down. Let's have a look at the we'll have a look at the kill death ratio in a minute. Super Schopenhauer never in that game. Obviously a much less experienced player. But here you go. This just demonstrates you can't really tell much from these ratings at all. Super Schopenhauer was evidently the weakest player in that game. DPD potentially the strongest, almost the same rating. Plomo looked a little bit weak on that side, and Dugadurf, one of the strongest players on the flank there, especially with the Cav early on. All 11,000 rated players. Right, let's have a look at the kill-death ratios. Katerina was an absolute murderess there. 5.48. How many did she kill to losses? Only lost 66 and killed 362. Nobody got anywhere near that at all. So yeah, I think there is something in that strategy of using the siege towers. I thought it was expertly utilized there. I think that's really got to give Katerina the player of the game. I was tempted to give it to Dugadurf because they did make that early success and then took care of Smuggles' archers, but they took some losses against Peter Russo, although it was very full on. Peter Russo, not really a great fighter in that match, but I'm going to have to give it to Katerina. I think without the siege towers, it would have been a much more attritional battle. Possibly Juan Ragnarok could have come into it strong at the end if that had been the case. That seems to have been the long game that he was aiming for. But Katerina, being almost invulnerable in the towers, got the most kills, certainly slaughtered all of Smuggle's population. And it just goes to prove that while archers are very good, very allegedly overpowered in Alpha 24, they can't kill siege engines, they can't kill siege towers. And that's worth bearing in mind if you think you're going to come up against a lot of them, possibly. But congratulations to Team 2. Big thanks to Katerina for sending that game in. We'll have to have a word with Katerina. Katerina must lose games every now and again. I wonder if she'll send one in where she's been the unfortunate victim of somebody with a better strategy on the day. But so far, Katerina has generally been the strong player that we've seen on the matches that she's sent in. But massive thanks to Katerina for sending it in. A really good performance. And again, congratulations to Team 2. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to be notified of future episodes. If you'd like one of your matches featured on the show, see the video description of how you can submit your replays. And if you can't wait for the next episode, then why not check out these playlists in the end titles for more replays, commentary, and tutorials on 0AD Newbie Rush. I'll see you in the next video.